Some cooler temperatures are trying to filter in tonight, and then we get into the new work week, and it is going to be one wild ride with wind, snow, thunderstorms, you name it, we've got it. I'll track all of it coming up.
Please don't leave me by myself anymore.
A woman remains behind bars tonight for leaving her 3-year-old daughter home alone for a number of hours. We talked to neighbors who found the little girl Saturday.
A pickup football game is going viral.
They played with us right in our yard.
How 2 Lexington police officers' kind gesture taught these kids a lesson they'll never forget.
WKYT News starts now with First Alert Weather.
A wild week of weather is on the way. Thanks for staying up with WKYT. I'm Kristen Kennedy. We saw rain and some warm temperatures earlier today, but tonight those temperatures are dropping. Some areas are even seeing fog move in. Here's a shot of the fog over at the Bluegrass Airport. We begin tonight with WKYT meteorologist Jim Caldwell and your no-wait weather forecast.
And over there at Bluegrass Airport, too, by the way, Kristen, that's where we get our visibility reading, and it's only seeing out to 4 miles, which suggests that we are seeing those pockets of some dense fog try to settle into areas. And you can see other spots across parts of Kentucky coming in around a mile or even less out in Harlan across eastern Kentucky, where they're still dealing with some showers moving through that area. So a little bit of rain still holding on across parts of eastern Kentucky, but they also have some warmer air down there as well. That's where we find some of those low and mid 50s. Here in Lexington, we're down to 43 degrees, and we'll likely end up in the low and mid 30s overnight tonight. The last little bit of the shower activity is about to clear out of eastern Kentucky and shift more over into Virginia, but we'll still have the cloud cover and areas of fog holding on. Overnight tonight, as you see as we get into the early morning hours, you'll watch those temperatures drop into the low and mid 30s. As I mentioned, winds will start to calm down, of course, as well. And then we get into the daytime hours, we're probably back into 40s, close to 50 degrees. But really, it's all about a wild weather week that includes everything you can think of. Showers, thunderstorms, wind, snow. It's all coming this week, and I'll break it down at 11:12.
A mother is in jail in Jessamine County accused of leaving her 3-year-old at home alone for hours. Nicholasville police say Nina Pike told them she had to be at work, so she left her daughter at home. Neighbors found the little girl, and they're talking with WKYT's Caitlin Sentner about what happened. Caitlin has our top story at 11.
She was just beautiful. Her little face was just beautiful.
Neighbors found a young girl wandering around outside her home Saturday.
She said to Dana, please, please don't leave me by myself anymore.
The young girl, a 3-year-old, was left home alone for at least 9 hours, according to the Nicholasville Police Department arrest citation. The shocking discovery has neighbors devastated and left with many questions.
And she wandered out of the apartment and went to the other end. There was a guy down there. She looked at him and she says, hey, can I hang out down here and play with you? She said, I'm afraid.
According to the police report, Nina Pike admitted to intentionally leaving her 3-year-old daughter at home alone. We did try and reach out to her at the Jessamine County Detention Center. She declined to comment, but we talked to neighbors who were here on Saturday when they found the 3-year-old, and they're not being quick to judge.
If her mother had just checked around and said, well, somebody keep her from me so I can work. I'll lease my apartment if I don't work.
I know that, it probably had to be hard for her. I just hope that she knows that there's people around here that would help her. Because I would help her.
Dana Watcher and Jane DeMoss, both neighbors, say seeing the little girl leave with authorities is still hard to stomach.
We're going to put you in here. These are some of my friends. And they're going to take you so you can go somewhere and feel safe. You'll be okay.
In Jessamine County, Caitlin Sentner, WKYT.
Pike is at the Jessamine County Detention Center on a $1,000 bond. She faces criminal abuse charges. Lexington police want to know what led up to an overnight shooting. They found 37-year-old Raymond McGee near Elm Tree Lane and East 6th Street around 2:30 this morning. They say he had 3 gunshot wounds. He is expected to survive. Police say he isn't telling them much about what happened and that they found narcotics on McGee. He is now charged with possession of a controlled substance. Lexington police are charging 2 men with a church parking lot robbery. Police say 37-year-old Robert Schultz and 48-year-old Harvey Smith pulled up to a church on Winchester Road this morning and asked a woman if she needed help carrying some items. When she said no, police say one of the men pulled out a knife and stole her purse. Deputies in Scott County later saw a car that matched the one involved in the robbery and tried to pull the driver over, but they say he refused to stop. With some help from deputies in Grant County, officers were able to stop and arrest the pair. Both are charged with robbery. They are in the Scott County Jail. The former fiance of State Senate Majority Leader Damon Thayer is claiming he used his position of power against her. The Georgetown News Graphic reports Tanya Branham has filed a lawsuit claiming Thayer threatened to get the Administrative Office of the Courts to stop her from serving as a families and transition counselor. She also claims he kept police from filing a report back in December when they came out to their home for what Branham called an argument. Thayer has filed a lawsuit against Branham. His suit takes issue with ownership of the home they share. Kentucky State Police are trying to figure out what caused a deadly crash in Casey County. The coroner says 21-year-old Amber Sanders pulled into the path of another car at the intersection of West Kentucky 70 and Highway 127. Sanders' car was hit on the driver's side. She was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. Her baby is at UK Children's Hospital. McKinney Brown Funeral Home in Liberty is handling arrangements for Sanders. 2 dogs rescued from a home in Jessamine County last week are on the road to recovery. Animal control officers found Boo and Snicker at a home in Nicholasville. The officers say both dogs were starving. Snicker was in worse shape. They were worried he would never recover. He couldn't even stand. This weekend, Animal Care and Control posted a video to their Facebook page of Snicker walking with some help outside. And the vet believes Snicker is going to live. The second dog, Boo, is also doing better. The dog's owner, Vicki Madden, is charged with second-degree animal cruelty. The pictures are going viral. Lexington police officers took time out of their day earlier this week to play a little ball with some little kids. The gesture really made an impression on the boys they met. WKYT's Hillary Thornton is talking with them in a story that's new at 11.
If you pass by this yard in Lexington's Kenwick neighborhood, chances are you will see 11-year-old Mason and 10-year-old Kane tossing around the pigskin, getting together pickup games with their neighbors.
It was probably about 6 on 6 in the small yard.
After playing neighborhood pickup games time and time again, Fridays proved to be a special one that both Kane and Mason say they will remember for a while after some unexpected guests joined in their game.
Somebody was in trouble. Yeah, because we thought we did something wrong until he said, "You want to play football?"
A scene that was captured in pictures by folks passing by Lexington police officers stopping to spend time and connect with some youngsters in their community.
At first it was kind of hard to tell his team, so he took the tape, the
security tape.
Yeah, and he put it around our team's arm.
Yellow police tape creating some makeshift uniforms for the game in which some athletic skills were shown.
One cop, he caught it with one hand and he was keep catching it.
But most importantly, lessons were learned.
Got lucky it happened.
And they played with us right in our yard too.
Making sure these kids know they can call the men and women who wear the badge their friend, turning an ordinary afternoon outside into a special memory.
I'm not gonna forget it because on my door in there I just wrapped the security tape around it.
In Lexington, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
We asked Lexington police about the pickup game. The department says they put an emphasis on interacting and engaging with the community. They also say it's encouraging to see people sharing such positive stories about their officers. A Michigan man is in jail tonight accused of carrying out a series of random shootings that killed 6 people and injured 2. Kenneth Craig reports from Kalamazoo, where people are mourning together.
Music and prayer brought hundreds of grieving Kalamazoo residents together Sunday night at a church service to honor the victims killed in a deadly shooting rampage.
This kind of tragedy happens in California or in New York City or overseas. It doesn't happen here.
Authorities say 45-year-old Jason Dalton's spree allegedly began when he seriously wounded a woman around 6 Saturday night outside an apartment complex. 4 hours later, a father and son were killed at this car dealership. Then investigators say Dalton killed 4 women at a roadside restaurant. A 14-year-old girl was seriously injured.
Investigators say the women were in 2 vehicles here at this Cracker Barrel parking lot. Authorities are still searching for a motive.
CBS News confirmed Dalton was working as an Uber driver and passed the company's background check. Matt Mellon says he was Dalton's passenger less than 2 hours before the rampage.
We were kind of driving through medians, driving through the lawn, speeding along, and then finally, once he came to a stop, I jumped out of the car and ran away.
Mellon's fiance posted on Facebook to warn other passengers to stay away. Authorities believe Dalton would have continued his shooting spree if he weren't stopped. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Police say Dalton does not have a criminal history. They do not believe the acts are terrorist related. The presidential candidates were back on the campaign trail today. A dwindling pool of GOP presidential candidates is now preparing for the Nevada Republican caucuses. Donald Trump beat out Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz in South Carolina. Today, Rubio picked up the endorsement of Nevada Senator Dean Heller.
The Democrats do not want to run against me, but I cannot wait to run against them.
We're going to keep winning. We're going to make America great again.
As the Republicans head west, the Democratic candidates move east for next weekend's primary in South Carolina. Hillary Clinton edged out Bernie Sanders yesterday in the Nevada caucuses.
It was hard fought, and I just can't say enough about the team on the ground who've been there for months and the thousands and thousands of volunteers who really got to work.
We have the momentum not only in the Democratic primary process. If you look at national polls and you want a candidate who is going to defeat Donald Trump, you're looking at that candidate.
The latest polls show Clinton leading Sanders in South Carolina. The Hazard Police Department is welcoming their newest officer to the force. Officer John Holbrook graduated from the academy in Richmond Friday. Today, he joined the Hazard Police Department. Holbrook says his goal is to help get drugs off the streets.
Pretty much, to put it that way, you can breathe. You know, it's over with. Just now it's time to just get settled back in at home and get into a routine.
3 officers from Friday's graduating class will join the Hazard Police Department. An EKU sophomore will make her Food Network debut tomorrow. Megan Smith, the owner of Doodlebug Cakes in Berea, will be on the show Cake Wars. The 18-year-old is the youngest contestant in the show's history. She and her assistant will compete against 3 other teams for a chance to win $10,000. You can watch the episode tomorrow at 9.